Well, good morning, everybody. Live from TecMEN here, Bryan Brooks, the Chief Communications Officer at Northwest Florida State College. And it's such an honor to have a wonderful guest with us here, Representative Michelle Salzman. Thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your day to be with us. And first of all, thank you for so much for what you've done for the college and your support and incredible things happening in the state and in the House. And do you have a quick update you could share with us? Maybe one or two big things that are happening?
I think the biggest things that are happening in Florida is just the transition from an ideology type mentality to how can we teach this over here when really we need to be focusing on the fundamentals of education in the lower level of education. Like, the elementary level is just really making sure we're focusing on reading, writing, arithmetic, and then middle high school focusing on the trade school component of it. How can we get these kids ready? STEM is such a huge part of America and a piece that we have really not focused on for a long time, which is why America is so dependent on other countries, and we got to get back to being more independent. And then of course at the college level, which is at your level, the idea is just to make sure that we empower those partnerships from either whether it be the military transitioning out or just local hospitals or other institutions, and how can we make sure that we empower that collaboration so that you're more impactful with the students that you receive and allowing them to have that career pipeline, and that we're more impactful in our dollars to make sure that we're getting everything we can for the taxpayers.
Yep. Now, last week we just found out that, again, we're the #1 school education system in the country, at least at the college level, but I think it was for everybody, K through 12. What do you attribute that to? I mean, that doesn't happen by accident, I'm sure.
I think a lot of it has to do with the ability to just really hone in and focus on data. What do we see is happening and how can we fix that? When you have leadership that's not scared to change, leadership that's not afraid of going, we need to do this differently, then you find that you have a more innovative process, which means that you're able to quickly shift gears and change focus, so we can attribute all of our successes to the ability to just go with the flow of what's needed. And that's all the way down to the testing. I think a lot of it also was we kept our kids in school during COVID. I mean, we took them home for a little while, but we didn't lock everybody up for a long time. And even the entire world is still suffering from some of that. I can't even imagine what it would be like if we had our children not able to go to college. I mean, they pay tuition. The kids are 17, 18, 19. They're trying to, kick off their careers, and then it's just stopped. Now they can't go to school, they can't continue their education, which means that they can't move forward in life, and now they're stuck at home. So just being able to empower all of those from elementary to middle to high to college, I think a lot of that is just our leadership in the state and our college leadership. I mean, our university presidents, our local leadership even, they all embrace that ability to just get together, reevaluate, how can we fix these, and then we look at the individual problems and attack them accordingly.
Gotcha. So do you envision any pain points on the horizon for us as educators? I mean, what are the biggest things that we might be facing?
I think we're still in a world of we're putting a lot of pressure on the university system to get these young people or even new people that are transitioning careers into the next career, because we have such a shortage of these skilled workers, the nurses, the EMTs, even the welders, all the different types of special skills. We have a shortage, so we put a lot of pressure on you, the institution, to hurry up and get these people trained. But how do you get people in to train them, the teachers, the staff, So just, I think that's going to continue to be that conversation, and how can we creatively address that? And we have things through legislation, trying to make it where we'll take credits from military members when they transition into the civilian world. We're also supplementally funding programs where if you're if you're a nurse and we can get you to be an instructor at a college, we can pay the difference between your college money, your college salary versus your nursing salary, and then also the partnership with the hospital to have them hold your spot so you don't lose your tenure in the hospital. So that's another idea to help close that bottleneck. But I think we're going to continue the conversation of how do we catch up on all these industry things. And technology is a big deal as we're here at the Tech Conference, and how can we continue to grow and expand on that, especially in this part of the community in Florida. It's such a big open network of, there's so many people here. There's over 400 people here today.
Crazy. It's awesome. On a maybe a uneducated question, if I could, or non-education related question, more personal. Seems like every politician has one or two things that they care about more than anything else. What would be those one or two things for you that you're most passionate about going forward?
I have a few things. One is I just like to help people that can't help themselves. As a leader in the community, we should be trying to figure out how we can empower the whole community. How do we lift everybody up? And so veterans, of course, active duty military are so critically important to me. So I have a great partnership with my congressional leadership, and my senator, Rick Scott's phenomenal, as well as the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, and just making sure that we have a continuity there, so our conversation and our collaboration are really making a big impact. I also have a big passion for mental health. Access to health care, being the whip for health care and the vice chair of health care approach, of course. I'm in it every day, but it is a huge passion for me. And then another one that isn't talked about recently, but we're working on at the state level, is safe walkways, our walkability, our roadways. How do we get from point A to point B? How are your students walking to the university? Well, if there aren't sidewalks or the roads aren't safe, how do they get there? Can they bicycle? And it sounds so elementary, but it's such a big deal.
It is a big deal. I live in Destin. It's a huge
It is,
deal.
so
Sometimes I worry about dying all the time.
Yeah, we should. We're the second most dangerous state in the country for walkability.
Yeah.
And that's because many years ago, we created a walkability statute, but it was embedded in the Department of Education. So DOT never wanted to talk about it because it was in DOE statute. But it kind of belongs there because of school buses and kids, that's fine. But, up until 2 years ago, they never sat down and even had a conversation together, agency to agency, about safe walkways. And when I got in office, that's actually one of the big things I ran on. I ran a bill that created funding so we could do a big study across the state, and then creating the collaboration between DOT and DOE. And we're coming up with some good solutions. Good progress takes a little bit of time, and the speed of government typically is slow. If you don't have people ready to jump on it, and especially if it's not a leadership priority, if it's just like a personal passion, it's harder to get it to move. But I have got such great partnership. We've made little progress, here and there, and I think we'll do some big impactful things in the near future. But to upgrade our infrastructure that way would literally cost billions of dollars in a way that we wouldn't be able to fund education.
Yeah.
Like it's that much money. So figuring out a way to fix that incrementally and creatively, like we've done in other capacities, I think we'll see a lot more of that.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been such an honor to have you here. Appreciate your support for the college. And ladies and gentlemen, Representative Salzman, thank you again.
Thank you.